Hello and welcome to the Sofa Cinema podcast. My name is Logan. I'm your host, and I'm joined with my good friend David, who is the co-host.
Or Nada, that's fine, whatever.
Nada, yeah. I can't remember. I think I said Nada the first time, and you were like, "Oh, my name's David," and I'm like, "Shit, I didn't know you wanted to use your real name." Now you're switching it up again. I see how you are.
It doesn't matter. I go by both.
All right, so this I would say week, but this is technically the first one because I decided to drop the first one about the movie Logan because we got really off topic several times and it just turned into hot garbage.
I like hot garbage.
I think we talked more about the original X-Men movies than we did about Logan. So
yeah,
I figured we'll just leave it at that and not release that one or release it later as a lost episode.
That'll be the lost episode for Christmas.
So welcome to the first episode of Sofa Cinema, where we talk about movies and junk, and it's just, relaxed. We don't really have key points or anything. We just kind of shoot the shit and talk about the most recent movie we saw, which brings us to this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We just recently saw it. I saw it a couple days ago. You saw it, yesterday or Saturday?
It would be 2 days ago. Yep.
And I think my impressions is I liked it more than the first one. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I liked it about the same. Thought it was on par with it.
Okay, see, that's a better representation. Most people are like, oh, no, the first one's still way better and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I feel like this one just flowed a lot better.
All that was good.
Exactly. Like, I know people are upset that the music wasn't as memorable and other various things, but I don't know.
Some people on this couch included.
Yeah. You weren't a fan of the music, so you said.
It wasn't as memorable as the original soundtrack, maybe because I was anticipating something more than the first one, because the first one was banging. This one just had some sleeper hits in there.
I feel like it was mostly because they tried to weave the music into the movie a little more than the first one. To me, the first one felt like they just kind of drop kicked the music in at certain points to be like, hey, look, here's some 80s music. Whereas this one was like, yeah, we're going with the theme of 80s music, but it's just kind of in the background, That's just how I gathered from it. Whereas the first one was like 80s music in your face.
Well, it was doing the same thing that it does with its script, where they were to like lighten the mood when they're getting tortured in a prison. Oh, hey, we're just going to have Uga Chaka playing. Same thing.
I mean, is it the same thing though? So yeah, I mean, it wasn't as memorable. Yeah, I don't really remember most of the music. I just remember the Brandy song and the father and son song. And that's about it.
Because that was literally a plot point.
And the beginning song. Like, I don't know the name of the beginning song, but I remember it because it was pretty cool. The opening scene was pretty badass.
I couldn't even hum the music if I wanted to.
Yeah, actually, same.
Yeah.
But I feel like they hyped up the soundtrack for the first one, like, before the movie even came out. They were hyping up the soundtrack.
This one, there was nothing really.
So I feel like that might be part of it too, because I had the soundtrack and was listening to it before the movie even came out, and I was just like binge listening to it.
I even took a peek at this one, and there was like almost no songs I recognized. I recognized Parliament's Flashlight, and that was about it.
I didn't recognize most of the songs on the first one though, other than the what's that song?
Pina Colada.
Yeah, Escape, where he's talking about cheating on his wife, and then his wife wanted to cheat on her husband, and then they found each other and decided it was a good idea to stay together anyway for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, the music wasn't memorable, but I feel like it still worked in favor.
It was still there. It served its purpose when it was playing, but it just wasn't as memorable as the first one.
What can you do?
So you want to talk about the jokes after?
Oh, the jokes after tense moments.
Scenarios.
You mean the very ever popular thing called comedic relief. Sure, let's talk
Yeah.
about that and how everyone hates it.
So, continuing in the grand tradition of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, after, tense moments and deep character development, plot points, they'll usually just throw in a couple jokes. This one, it was more noticeable for some people, anyways. I mean, you know what you were buying when you bought the ticket.
Exactly.
But it definitely stood out more.
That's what kills me, is it's like everyone's acting like Guardians of the Galaxy is this like brilliantly written blah blah blah, and it's like, no, it's a Marvel's movie. It's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's basically Deadpool of the team based Marvel movies.
That's where me and you differ, because I think this movie is surprisingly deep.
It is deep, but they use the comedy to
comedic timing,
break that tension. And it's like I mentioned before, I can relate to that, where it's like I don't know how to handle, all those deep types of feelings, so I use comedy to kind of counteract that. And I feel like the movie portrayed that pretty well.
Yeah, I just wish it was more of the Empire Strikes Back of the supposed trilogy of this, because it goes a little bit more serious for this one. Luke, I am your father. We got all that stuff.
But see, you're
which was a little tiny smidge more serious. I don't mind the jokes in the slightest.
You're comparing Guardians of the Galaxy to Star Wars, two vastly different types of movies.
Space operas. Two
That's all they have
things.
in common. I mean, Star Wars is like an action drama, whereas Guardians of the Galaxy is like an action comedy. It's two different subgenres.
There was also tension-breaking scenes in Empire.
Yeah, but
I love you. I know it was good. I'm not I'm not down on the jokes in the slightest. It was just noticeable more that there was a lot more of them.
I don't know. I thought they were good. I thought the jokes were good. I thought they were spaced out well. I thought they were executed well.
They were earned. Yeah, I didn't think they were bad. I'm just saying they were noticeable. A lot of people seem to disagree with that sentiment, though, that they were just in the way and devaluing the movie in some way, which I don't really agree with.
My movies.
My movies.
Whatever.
My movies. My blue eyes.
My Guardians of the Galaxy. It wasn't serious.
So, what did you think of Baby Groot?
Baby Groot was simply a mechanism to sell more toys. That's my. There were a couple funny parts. Like, I'm gonna get into a little bit of spoilers, but kind of not really. Like when they were doing the space jumping, and then at the end of it, like Groot just kind of opens his mouth and puke spills out. I thought that was funny. And then another heavy spoiler part is at the very end, the end credits, when they show Groot as a teenager. I thought that was funny too.
Oh man, Teenage Groot was great.
But other than that, he served his purpose as a merch seller. That's all I can really say. He didn't really have that much depth to him added on based off the first movie.
I thought he was a great foil.
I thought the first movie was... I think Groot was better in the first movie, personally.
I liked him in this one. I liked him because he served a purpose as a foil, showing you an ideal father-son relationship with Rocket and Baby Groot, and then having like the whole dysfunctional thing with Ego and Star-Lord.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice foil, because there was a lot of paternal father themes in this movie.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I thought it was a nice foil for that. He was there to sell toys, but they did it in a smart way, because James Gunn knows how to write a movie, because he wrote it himself, and it's not like a bunch of directors or a bunch of writers, like 16 of them for Transformers,
Sure.
So I thought that was nicely put in.
Yeah,
but he was there for set dressing and to sell toys.
I didn't actually, put that together, that it was like a father-son relationship with Groot and Rocket. Because it is. Now that you pointed out, I see
what's
it.
His name? What's his name? I always forget his name.
Yondu?
Blue guy with the fin on his head this time. Yondu and Peter's relationship.
Oh my
was
god,
also
dude!
heavily...
That all right.
That
So we talked about our
breaking.
initial thoughts, right? We both liked it at
Pretty much.
varying levels.
They're both very
Yeah,
positive.
they're very very good movies. You should definitely see them. So now let's get into the spoilers.
If you get a chance, like Logan though, watch the double feature.
Yeah.
If it's still in theaters, because that's the best way to see it.
I think it was like a one night event.
Oh, I watched mine the night before and then saw it the next day. So
it was awesome.
anyways.
Though. Got to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 1, like a 10-minute break to go to the bathroom and get more drink, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was so cool. But anyway, into the spoilers.
But yeah,
Yondu and Peter. Oh my god, I cried. I almost cried.
Oh man, it was so effective when they just leached out all the sound from his flashbacks and he was just thinking about their time together. Oh, my heart.
Yeah. And it was, dude. It was, and of course, you know, I already said we're getting into the spoilers, but when Yondu died, it just straight up, just like every moment after that, like every different scene after he died was just like trying to yank the tears out of you.
I mean, they had a whole funeral procession.
Exactly.
For him.
Like all so like they had a funeral procession. That was sad. Then all the other scavengers or whatever they're called. Scavengers? Ravengers, that's it. They showed up and started having like a funeral procession for him. That was sad.
And then his ashes formed an arrow and I cried even more.
Speaking of the arrow, that end, they had like multiple end credit scenes.
Oh my god!
I kind of like that. I can't like what was. Oh yeah, the very very end one was the golden lady, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, Adam Warlock. Yeah. That's something I was reading a little bit about that.
But I like when they showed the second in command dude. I can't remember his name, but Yondu's second in command.
I don't think he even gets a name. Honestly, he's just that guy.
Yeah, but I liked when they were showing him trying to use the arrow. It like flew around and stabbed what's his name. That was Drax. And he starts screaming. I love the scream too. It's just like ah! 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 And the dude, it like pans back over. The dude just runs away. That's great. So
okay, so now that we got that little part out of the way, I think we should go back to the very beginning and go through piece by piece of this movie.
Yeah, I find it.
So we start out with them on that planet doing like a bounty for these gold,
which by the way,
stick up their butt people.
Because I love the intro to the first movie. I thought like the music and his walking through the cavern was awesome. That's what made me love that song.
Your heart was ripped out.
But what?
After your heart was ripped out watching his mother die of a brain tumor. That was a nice mood lightener. Oh snap! Did we use that in a movie? Oh no, must be a bad movie.
But I think the second opener was even better. It was just Baby Groot dancing to the music while everyone else was fighting.
Yeah, it was very fluid. I liked it because you got to see some of the action in the background.
And it was just shot really
mostly
well
just
too.
Baby Groot doing
like
stuff.
the cinematography of it, which I know most of it was
on a red
CG, but still.
Yeah, but you can still tell that they were real sets for the most part, with the blue screen just being nice background dressing.
Yeah. But so they fight a giant monster.
An interdimensional monster, point of fact.
Interdimensional monster. And
yeah, they fight that thing.
Kill it. And
then Rocket steals some batteries.
Rocket steals some very expensive
and that's really
batteries.
The thrust of
yeah,
the movie.
that's kind of what starts everything. Because they were on the planet with these gold people. I can't remember what their race is called.
Who cares?
Yeah, they're kind of not important.
They're the gold people.
Important.
Not important.
But they kind of suck anyway because they're assholes.
Yeah.
But he steals the batteries and they start like chasing them.
Fighting out of the planet.
Yeah, they start chasing them and trying to kill them. And they take down the ship onto a planet, which is just a random planet, where they start trying to repair the ship.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden, Peter's dad shows up.
And he blows up the entire fleet.
Yeah, that's true.
They're drones, of course, because we got to keep that body count low, boys. But,
Yeah.
Does it in one hit.
One hit wonder.
And then
in and then out.
There's some infighting. Oh, yeah, Nebula's there, too. Gamora's sister. They get her off the planet as reward for their
Oh
mission.
yeah, I forgot.
That's gotta be included.
Yeah, Nebula was their
So
bounty.
they take Gamora, or they take
It's kind of a
they
shit
take
bounty, to be
Nebula.
honest, but
Hey, Karen Gillan's hot. Yo.
not as Nebula.
Even with that blue skin, yo.
I'd have to.
No.
I'd have to
I'm
say
joking.
no.
It was a joke. Yeah, no, it was a joke.
But anyway, yeah, they
So they crash on the planet after they get blown up.
and Peter's dad shows up and is like, "Hey, I'm your dad, Peter," and then takes what what's her name?
They take Drax,
Gamora.
Gamora, and Peter onto the ship, and they
While
take
Rocket
off,
is fixing,
leaving Rocket there, being all bitter.
because
with
everyone
Gamora
was
and Baby Groot,
pissed off at Rocket for stealing the batteries.
also crashing the ship slightly.
Yeah, it was kind of Peter and Rocket's fault because they were like fighting over control.
Yeah, because they're both assholes.
And yeah, they go to Peter's dad's planet and finds out that Peter's dad is what's called a quote-unquote celestial, which is basically a god.
He's also the planet.
Yeah, he's also the planet because his brain was just floating
They go
around.
to his planet, which is also him.
And yeah, they talk some shit out. Peter finds out he's part celestial, so he has all these powers.
Then they literally play catch together with the giant energy ball. And I laughed so hard because that's so tropey, but it's still funny because it's an energy ball.
Yeah.
We also learn that Peter's dad, Ego, is trying to like seed the planets and stuff too. That was in the opening scene, like before the Baby Groot dancing scene.
Yeah, that's true.
He like plants a little flower or something. But we learned that
We didn't know what
I'm
it was
looking for other life out there.
We didn't know what the plant was for. You're just kind of like, that's weird. Why did he put that there?
Yeah.
And then yeah, he tells everyone
So,
like on the
on
tour,
the surface level though.
Yeah, on the surface level of the planet, he takes everyone on a tour of his like mansion that he built because he's a super powerful god or whatever. And he was like, "Oh yeah,
sure.
my purpose was to go around and find some life and blah blah blah." And
knock it up. Oh yeah.
that he doesn't say that though. He just says that he fell in
No,
love
it's
with
implied.
Peter's mother.
Yeah.
And then yeah, basically everyone else goes their separate ways to explore the planet and sulk because everyone's pissed off at everyone else.
And then we hard cut to an awesome, admittedly a tiny bit long fight scene with Rocket single-handedly taking down all the Ravagers that Yondu's leading to capture them.
I didn't think it was that long, honestly. I thought it
was really good, but it was a little long.
I thought it
I could have used a little more. Like I was kind of hoping that Blue Chick would jump in and help after Baby Groot let him out, but that didn't happen the way I thought it was.
Yeah, she didn't really step in until later and then ended up betraying everyone. I guess it wouldn't be
Maybe I just have
considered a
prejudice
betrayal
against
since she wasn't
CGI.
really on their side to begin with.
She betrayed Baby Groot. That pop figure.
And T-shirt that the theater was selling. I'm serious. I
So they end
didn't
up
really
getting
like Baby
captured
Groot.
by Li-
It was just such
What
a
was his
trope
name?
to sell
What
things.
was his name?
Who?
What was his name? The Ravager guy that takes over after
Taserface?
After Taserface. Oh, look at me! I'm a meme. Ooh,
My name is Taserface.
I've seen that so much on Twitter.
I just thought it was funny how much
Taserface
Raccoon
liked my
was-
tweet. Mm.
How Rocket was making fun of him the whole time.
Gotta love Rocket, man. It's so sarcastic.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge Bradley Cooper fan, but as Rocket, he was pretty good.
I thought his name was Sly Cooper.
Oh, get it? Because Raccoon.
Yeah.
But anyway, after the
Jesus.
action scene when Rocket and Groot and Yondu get captured by the Ravagers, we go back to the planet, Ego's planet, where everyone went their separate ways. So Ego reveals his true plans to Peter after like touching his forehead and basically blinding him, I guess.
Pretty much.
Basically like putting all these ideas
Before-
in his head to make it seem more reasonable than it actually is, which is Ego wants to absorb all the planets and make them a part of him, basically.
It was symbolic and literal when Star-Lord's eyes got glazed over there.
Yeah, basically.
I see what you did there, movie. You know who we didn't talk about at all is Mantis. What do you think about Mantis before we go any further? Because she does get a little bit of importance in the plot.
Like she
she's
served
a bug
her puppet.
lady that has like empathic powers.
she could tell people's emotions, and she can alter them in a like very small way. So if like someone's unhappy, they can make them happy.
Affect you.
And yeah.
Yeah.
She served her purpose. Like I feel like
she wasn't the greatest.
She was mostly a setup for the others' jokes.
Yeah, she was also a bit of a punching bag too.
That's kind of what I meant by setup for other people's jokes. They just like
I meant literally when she gets hit by that like piece of rock or whatever.
Mantis, look out!
She just gets like dead. I tried, guys. Yeah. So that was Mantis's job. We'll talk about her a little bit later when we get to the climax of the movie.
Yeah, she just served her purpose as a you know, comedic relief, pretty much. Because she's like socially awkward because she was raised by Ego, like in isolation on Ego's planet. So,
by the way, I said this on Twitter. You think a red flag would have gone off in everyone's head if the guy's literally named Ego? Like,
I mean, that's a red flag for everyone except for them. I don't know why in the Marvel universe it's like, oh, even though this guy seems bad, let's trust him. But I'm pretty sure everyone who went in to see the movie, and as soon as they heard the name Ego, they were like, he's probably going to be the bad guy in this.
The bad guy in Iron Man's name is literally Obadiah Dane. It doesn't sound like a good guy.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So,
but isn't that kind of like a comic book thing to use like overly dramatic sounding names for evil people? So you could be like, that guy's evil.
Yeah.
It just
Lord Vader.
It just seems like a comic book type thing to do. But anyway, getting sidetracked again.
Yeah. Sorry, I just want to talk about Mantis real fast because we didn't really talk about her. So where were we at? We were at the part where
Ego reveals his plan to Peter.
Blue chick. Oh yeah, wait, yeah, that's right. Ego does reveal his plan to Peter.
And basically, after like during which, when Ego's revealing his plan to Peter, it's like a fight scene happens. That's in the middle of that, right?
It's technically a little bit before it. It's with Gamora and what's her name that I can never remember. Blue chick.
Yeah.
They have a big cool fight. It's really nice visuals because it's.
I think the
blue sky and orange ground.
The big.
So the complementary colors.
the big gun Gamora carried. Nebula is her name.
God, that was awesome.
I thought it was kind of
Nebula,
much. To be honest.
I thought it was cool. Because she's like really strong, and I think it's funny when like tiny dainty characters like that are like super strong.
Yeah, and
maybe that's just me.
I mean, I know she's like supposed to be enhanced, quote unquote, but I didn't think she was as like cybernetically enhanced as Gamora, because she can't like fix broken arms and shit like Nebula can. So I didn't think she would have like the strength to carry a gun like that. But I mean, it's comic book universe, so I didn't think too much about it. It was just one of those where it's like, that's a little much.
I like that fight too, just because of the emotional payoff of all that.
Yeah,
they kind of reconcile with each other a little bit.
We are sisters, and you
always wanted to win.
We're sisters, and we both went through almost the same amount of shit, basically.
Except you always won, so I turned into a robot.
Yeah, that kind of sucks for her, but you should have fought harder.
Yeah. So they reconcile, and they explore the caverns that the fight eventually leads them into, and they find a bunch of skulls down there.
A bunch of skulls and skeletons.
Yeah, that's probably not good.
Yeah.
Some spoopy skeletons are down there.
In which Mantis fills them in later that's Ego's other children. Turns out the plan that Ego revealed to Peter was that he actually went around and was basically having sex with the entire universe, the entire known universe.
But because of his special blood and being human, he was able to, you know, have some celestial blood in him to do all the cool celestial stuff on the
Which
planet.
I guess
That's the
they're
only
saying
reason that
humans are
that Peter didn't die.
superior.
Yeah, boy.
Humans rock.
Wait, why is he white though? Wait, what? Why couldn't it have been a black Star
You
Lord?
know,
Wow,
I don't know.
what's going on. Anyways,
let's not get
So,
social
yeah.
injustice on this movie.
So yeah, we also learned that you know, he banged a bunch of people and then he killed them if they didn't have the right genes to express the celestial DNA or whatever.
Which none of them did.
And,
Peter was the only one that showed that he could carry the celestial blood, which is why he could hold the Infinity Stone.
Yeah, they dropped that at the end of the last movie, which was nice setup.
They
a little
didn't
bit,
say
but, you
exactly what he was, just that he was
know, they
ancient.
just said it's something
yeah,
ancient.
and you're like, ooh, I wonder what it is. And then they finally explained it. But anyway, Peter is like, oh, cool, like that's cool that I'm celestial. And then Ego's trying to basically just says, I need you to take over the galaxy because I couldn't do it with my own power. So with the power of both of us, we could do it. Peter's like, I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about that.
So, man, and then I put that tumor in your mom's brain.
Well, first he
and then
stabs
really snaps
Peter
out of it.
he stabs Peter to basically be like, oh,
Put him as a battery.
well, if you're not going to cooperate, then I'm just going to use you regardless, with or without your consent. And then basically explains like, well, or Peter's like, oh, I thought you loved my mother. And he's like, oh, I did. I went back to visit her, but then I realized I couldn't leave, or I couldn't keep going back, so I put the tumor in her brain. And then Peter's like, oh, well, fuck. You suck, Dad. I hate you. And it somehow like gave him the power he needed to break free, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they go deep inside the
Then they drill with a giant drill laser to the climax because Rocket and Yondu escape from prison
after a mutiny.
in a really cool fight scene. And did you like the visuals for the warping?
Oh, yeah. I thought those were funny.
I thought they were really cool.
I thought
everyone in the audience laughed when their faces were distorting.
I think everyone did, just because it was funny. And like I said, I loved after the warping when Groot just kind of like bleh, and like all the puke comes pouring out of his mouth. But yeah,
and a big emotional moment too with Yondu and Rocket kind of understanding each other, that they're both like scorned lovers, where they were abused and they don't know how to share love. Oh yeah, we got to talk about that too. Sylvester Stallone is also in this movie. He shows up a little earlier on, and he's kind of like shunning Yondu because they're like, Ravagers don't deal in kids.
They don't trade kids. And then it turns out Yondu was actually delivering all of the children to Ego, like all the skulls and shit down there.
All of his love babies.
That was Yondu's doing.
But he didn't deliver
because
Peter
he found out.
Ego's kind of a douche.
Well, no, he even said he found out what Ego was up to, and he was like, "Oh, I couldn't deliver him then."
So there's one father-son complex. Did we drop?
No, I was just trying to think of what to talk about next. I lost.
So yeah, I was just saying where we got. So Yondu and Rocket, after this really cool, like I think in my opinion, with the arrow whipping around killing people, they escape from the Ravagers prison, take a drill thing down to the planet so they could drill to Ego's core.
In that fight scene
and save
with
the
Yondu and like the entire ship was basically whenever Yondu crashes on Indo or whatever that planet was called.
Nova.
Was it Nova? I thought
Nova Prime.
Nova Prime was like the core, the Nova core. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, when he crash lands on there and then he's like surrounded and he uses the arrow to like kill like 20 people, he kills an entire ship with the arrow. Like Yondu is super OP, like just massively overpowered.
And that's why he had to die.
I feel like that's why they killed him, is because he's like his arrow is just like super ridiculously overpowered.
Oh no, that means second in command guy's gonna die next.
Rip. Well, not really, because he can't even use it.
Yeah. So they get the drill thing. They meet up with the rest of the team on the planet, and they start drilling to the core, his brain core, to kill him. So he can't control all the planets that he's seeded with his little flower thing, and 2, because he's a dick.
Yeah.
That was
He
the other
killed
reason.
Peter's mom with the brain tumor. And this is where Mantis comes in handy, because they mentioned throughout that she's like the only one that can basically get him to sleep. So when they get to the core, which is his brain, she puts him to sleep while they're like trying to drill into his brain and explode it.
Yes. And then the gold people from earlier show up, and they just start messing everything up with their drones.
Yeah. But then they do a super cool
they,
move where they like turn the mining laser into like a super awesome light show and just like destroy everything.
Yeah. Nebula comes in handy there with her robot arm. She puts all the power cables in there. She overloads it, She doesn't have a surge bar, and she turns all the lasers against everyone and saves the day.
It's good shit.
And then they the batteries come back into play.
Yeah, they strap the batteries to a bomb.
They get some duct tape.
Get Baby Groot to figure out how to
Baby Groot.
press the buttons. That was a funny part too.
Just 2 buttons. Yeah. I wish they didn't spoil that in the trailer, but I understand why they did.
I am Groot. Yes, I am Groot. Mm-hmm. I am Groot. No!
No!
That's the button that kills everyone. You want to press this one.
Do it again.
I am Groot. Uh-huh. I am Groot. Yes. I am Groot. No!
I am Groot. No!
Damn it!
Yeah, that was great.
So anyway.
So they eventually, yeah.
They eventually like drill in as far as they could before they overload the stupid thing, the mining drill. And
things go bad.
I can't remember exactly what happens. Basically, yeah, some like an explosion happens because after they kill all the gold people, and Mantis gets knocked out.
And Mantis gets knocked
so
out.
she's not keeping him asleep anymore. So now Ego is awake and is basically going all hentai on them with tentacles trying to kill everyone.
So yeah, then Peter taps into his inner avatar and starts earthbending everything because he's part celestial planet too.
Waka waka waka.
And they have the stupidest fight scene that I've ever seen.
It was cool. It was super cool. Like everything
Pac-Man.
was super cool about it because they were just flying around beating the shit out of each other with like rock fists.
Yeah.
And then
Pac-Man.
Ego turns into a giant dude and Peter turns into a giant Pac-Man for no apparent reason. Yeah. And then they fight. Eventually, Groot figures out how to work the bomb. They escape, blow up Ego, and Peter loses his powers. And in the process,
and he's also stuck on the bottom of the pit that they're in.
Yeah, everyone had to leave him. So Rocket left Yondu like a space suit type thing and a jetpack. And Yondu sacrificed himself to save Peter. Which is
because Peter's mask gets broken as well, so he can't use his little air flying around thing.
So he uses the spacesuit on Peter and then jetpacks him up into space.
He may be your father, but he hates your daddy. And then everyone cries.
Yep. And then there's that whole funeral scene we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Oh, I forgot about that. That's become a meme too.
That was great. Oh, that's good.
You'll have to watch it to know what that is. I won't spoil that part because that was fun. It's just a fun movie.
There's some end credits. Howard the Duck shows
again.
up
I don't know what their fetish with Howard the Duck is, to be honest.
Just because it's a bad old movie, they enjoy putting him in.
Then they show Teenage Groot, and then some.
They showed the weird Guardians of the Galaxy. The old ones with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh yeah.
Apparently it's like an old deep comic thing. Miley Cyrus was a robot.
Oh, was there Miley Cyrus in
Yeah, she was the robot.
Oh,
head on
I
the
didn't
chair.
know that.
And that was about it. Oh, they teased Adam Warlock.
Which I don't know what that is. I just know it's like the gold person showing off some robot looking dude.
Yeah, he has an Infinity Stone canonically.
Oh, okay. So he's gonna come into play for sure whenever the Infinity Wars finally happens.
Probably. He'll probably have the last stone, which is supposed to be a soul stone. Unless they show up in Thor, but, you know, who knows.
All in all, it was just a fun movie. It's one of those where it's like, if it came out closer to summer, it definitely would have been a summer blockbuster. But it was a spring blockbuster. Because it's just really good.
Yeah.
I'm sure it
Plus we
probably
have Thor in the fall,
has
too.
done really well. Let's see what the Guardians of the Galaxy
Box office.
Yeah. Let's see. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 debuts with 145 million domestically, tops 425 million worldwide.
Well, do you know what its budget is? Does it say there?
If
it's not there, oh well.
yeah, I mean,
it made money
it
is
made
the
a lot
point.
of money. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
to use Box Office Mojo, so I don't know where the budget would be.
Yeah, it don't matter.
But yeah, it's a really good movie.
Yeah, I'll go see the sequel. I think this might be I actually purchased on Blu-ray.
Or download through quote unquote legal means. I mean,
Oh my god.
oh my god.
So, anything else we should just wrap up
Yeah,
before we finish?
I mean, I'd give it 10 baby Groots out of 10.
Ah, you stole my joke. Damn it.
Got him. Now you gotta come up with something else.
I give it one frozen Yondu out of one frozen Yondu.
That's
good?
fucked up, man.
That's 100% rating.
Oh god, no. Rip Yondu. 2017.
I give it 2 Sylvester Stallones out of 1.
Oh, jeez. That's the highest
Really
rating
high
yet on the
praise.
podcast.
No, wait, no, I gotta subtract one of those. Sorry.
Is
There
it
was
because
too
of the
much
comedy?
jokes. It was because of the comedy.
I give it 3 laughing Draxes out of 3.
I give it 5 in pain from arrow stab Draxes out of 6.
I give it 2 completely mangled nebulas that are reforming themselves with disturbing cracks
Oh my
out of
God.
2.
Oh man, that's great sounds.
All right. So thank you for joining us for the Sofa Cinema podcast number 1, where we talked about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It was fun.
Yeah. thanks for
I believe
watching
our
or listening or
next
whatever.
podcast is going to be the hit Netflix original sequel, Bigger Fatter Liar. So tune
Oh
in.
man, I gotta try to find Big Fat Liar.
I know we got to watch that so that we
For
can compare,
comparison.
because it's been ages since I watched that movie. I used to love that movie as a kid.
Me too. I love that they had the Eiffel 65 song "I'm Blue" in it. It was great.
It was just good times.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next
So-
time. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye.